Welcome everybody, I'm Zone, and this is gonna be one of those. So this story took place about a year and a half ago, right? So let's put the timeline in June of 2019. Yeah, this is how far back it happened. June of 2019, because I know it happened in summer of 2019, I just don't remember the month. And so what happened was that this was around the time that I was working at this janitor job, right? I was working at a janitor job, making modest pay, And at the time, I would obviously in my free time do schoolwork or play video games with my friends. So I really wanted to play video games with one of my best friends, Zann. I wanted to get him something to play with us because he was playing. The only game he could play with us was Fortnite because, well, he's from Xbox. We're from PlayStation. So it doesn't exactly work. So I was thinking, dang, it'd really be chill if I could ever get this man a PS4 if he ever gets one, right? And so, one day, right, what ends up happening is, I just arbitrarily was going through Facebook, whatever, and they start recommending me PlayStations because, Google and Facebook, they know your thoughts, and they be like, yo, homie, you were thinking about something? Don't worry, we're gonna put in your fucking face. They're not subtle in the slightest. They're really not. But I ended up checking the listings, and they were for mostly used PS4s. And I was like, okay, all right, and they were in really good condition. And so I was like, okay, all right, and I was like, all right, if it's something like 150 or whatever, because I couldn't afford much, but I was like, if it's 150. Yeah, I could do that. Keep in mind, this was back when the PS4, used, went for, 290 to 320. Easy. And it's well, if it goes for 150, then we got a deal, too. It was one of those things, Well, I just was I'm not gonna rush anything, more than likely he'll get it, but, if 150 comes around the block, your boy might cop it and be like, yo, homie, there you go. There's a birthday gift or a Christmas gift. There you go. Something like that. I don't know. And so what ends up happening is just chilling or whatever. And a couple weeks go by since Facebook and Google read my mind and decided to recommend me PlayStations. And what ends up happening is that one catches my eye. And I'm like, okay, it's the first gen PS4, the one that I have, with a controller, game. All right, pretty chill. However, issue is $200. And interestingly enough, when I messaged the guy about it, the guy says, hey, I'm willing to do a trade. Short story short, he ultimately decided that, hey, do you got a 3DS? And I said, yeah. At the time, I didn't have a Switch, so I really didn't want to give up my 3DS. But he's like, hey, you give me the 3DS? We'll do it $100 in the 3DS, and you get the PS4. And it's so, being the good friend that I am, I accepted that offer. And there was 10 games with the 3DS. Fuck my life. But yeah. So, alright, cool. Done deal, whatever. The issue is that this man lived in Tampa, right? So, for those that don't know, that was about a 2.5, 3 hour drive south of where I'm located. So I'm that's something, And so what ended up happening was that I decided to tell my friend Zann, hey, getting you a PS4. Since I'm going, I want you to come with me. Don't worry, I got you covered. We'll get some stuff to eat out or whatever, and everything will be chill. So he's like, all right, cool. You know what? Bet. I'll come with you because you're getting me a PS4. Why wouldn't I come with you? It's like, yo, homie, all right. So we go. The day finally comes. It's about a week later, and we start headed out. And we didn't tell anyone that we were going to Tampa. So in hindsight, it was probably a really bad idea. His parents or family did not know where he was going. My family sure as fuck didn't know where we were going. And they probably should have, given where this story is leading. So what ends up happening is in the morning, I'm like, hey, do you want anything to eat? And he says, oh yeah, definitely, totes. Do you mind Dunkin' Donuts? And I'm like, yeah, let's get Dunkin' Donuts. So he gets his coffee from Dunkin' Donuts. I get some dozen donuts, get some milk, and we are on the road, right? We're headed out or whatever. He's got his Frappuccino coffee, whatever the fuck it is. And we start headed out, right? We're driving, we're cracking jokes, and he's just chilling out, just minding his own business, right? And so we're driving down or whatever. And as we're driving down, we're cracking jokes and all that jazz and whatever. And eventually we get to Tampa, right? There was no issues whatsoever all the way down to Tampa. However, it did rain a little bit, so I was like, okay, cool. We make it to this man's house. The man introduces himself. I bring out the 3DS. He shows us the PlayStation. The PlayStation works. Everything's great. Zann tested it out. Everything's great. We do the trade, the money, all that. We book it up and we leave. Simple, easy, done in like 10 minutes. We get back on the road, and my car starts messing up. Now, at the time of this story, I had a, PT Cruiser. Now, the issue with that car was, there was a few issues. One is, the transmission was on its way out, and, this was one of the trips that probably led to the death of that car. So what ends up happening is, we start, driving on the road or whatever, and the car starts going, and I'm like, oh no, oh no, oh no, and it shuts off on the road. With the very little bit of momentum that we had going, I was able to turn the car off the road and go into a grassy patch so that no one would hit us or no one would be honking the horn. So I park in the grass, I'm like freaking, I'm like, oh my god, we're 2.5 hours away from home. Fuck, AAA ain't gonna be enough to get us home. Fuck. And I'm like freaking out or whatever. And so I'm like, alright, 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi, 4 Mississippi, 5 Mississippi, 6 Mississippi, 7 Mississippi, 8 Mississippi, 9 Mississippi, 10. And I turn it on, car turns on. It's like, okay, cool. Now, something that's gonna be very weird to hear. For some reason, this car drove even worse than normal when it rained. Even worse when it downpoured. You can imagine what happened next. Oh, it didn't just rain. Oh, it didn't just rain. They said thunderstorm, motherfucker. So this shit started hauling ass. Brrr, fucking raining on us and everything. And I'm just sitting here like, fuck. And you can hear the car just struggling. And I'm like, god damn it. And so I start trying to drive as fast as I can to try to outpace this rain that's right behind us. Like, this shit's going, and I'm just like, no! Like, it's right there. It's right fucking there. So I'm hauling ass trying to get to the highway, right? And so what ends up happening is we get to this long stretch of road, right? And I'm sure that you guys have seen something like this before, where it's a long stretch of road that has no lights, no stores, just woods on each side, and eventually it'll show you like an entrance to a highway. I'm sure you guys have seen something like that. Well, that's what we had. The issue is because of the thunderstorm, the traffic was near bumper to bumper. So at this point, I'm freaking out. I'm like, oh my god, we are going to die. We are going to fucking die. Then the car gets even worse. The car shuts off again. And I started to realize something. And this is where shit gets really bad. When I turned on the car again, I started to realize the car made more noises when the car was slowing down or stopping. Meaning, if I didn't want the car to turn off, I would have to at least drive a few miles per hour. The issue is, we're in bumper-to-bumper traffic. So I'm freaking out thinking like, we're gonna die. Because this thing cannot like turn off again. If it turns off again, there's no guarantee it'll turn on. Especially with the fact that it's downpouring on us at this point. So I'm freaking out thinking we're gonna die. We're gonna fucking die. And so what ends up happening, and I never recommend this to anyone, you know that, the brown, not the brown, the gray part of the road that's, in the grassy patch, but also not in the grassy patch? Well, I went into there, that part of the street that, no cars are supposed to drive because that's supposed to be where you chill in case if you have a motor, car emergency thing. Yeah, I drove on that until I saw an opening, and when I did that, it saved us. No joke, it saved us because we were able to get back onto the road because there was a really nice person that fucking let us in. We were able to get on the highway. I never recommend that to anyone. Don't ever do that. But it saved my ass, so I did it. And I was having my heart racing out of my chest the entire time because I thought I was going to get arrested. And so we did that. And so we get on the highway and the car goes, and I'm like, please no, please no, please no. So we're trying to make it. We're trying to go. And then I start to realize, oh fuck, the car is running out of gas. And I'm like, fuck! And so it's just like problem after problem after problem after problem. So I'm trying to make it, get to the certain area, whatever. Eventually, we see an exit that says it has a gas station. Cool. We start turning into the gas station, right? And this is where shit gets even worse. So the brakes stopped working. And you know how I found this out? Because when I tried to stop at a fucking street light, it wouldn't stop. Thank God the fucking light was at yellow. Because, golly, if it was on red, oh, we probably, one, would have gotten hit, or two, got a ticket. Thank God it was on yellow, because the brakes just stopped working for a good, 2 minutes. And so I'm freaking out, thinking, oh God, we're gonna die. And so I'm trying to, stop the car, right? And what I decided to do is obviously take my foot off the gas. The car is starting to slow down, thank God, but it's still in drive. And I can't put it off of drive. I just can't, because one, it'll fuck up the gears even more. We're sure as fuck not getting home then. And two, I just can't do anything. So what I end up doing is I'm trying to slow it down, and eventually slows down to the point where it's 2 or 3 miles per hour. So I'm able to turn into the gas station. Well, the issue is still not stopping. And so, you guys know how there's those big ass poles, in the gas stations, the ones that protect everything, they're really big concrete poles. Well, I didn't exactly hit it, but I kind of bumped into it a little bit, a really small bump, and I was able to stop the car, and I was able to quickly put into brake, the brakes actually worked when it stopped, and then I was able to put it back to normal. Thank God I didn't crash, because it was going at 1 or 2 miles per hour, but you get my point. That's how I was able to stop the car. Put gas in the car, and then we're back on the road. Car is working just fine for the next hour. Just fine. Rain starts coming down, car goes to shit again. And I'm like, fuck. So we're trying to drive, and we're about maybe an hour and a half away from our destination. An hour and a half is okay, it's bad, but it's alright. Well, 30 minutes later, so at this point now, we're only an hour away from home. Zann at this point is terrified. He doesn't want to stop the car for nothing. But he tells me that basically his coffee and the donuts and the chips that he ate are not resonating well with his stomach. And in layman's terms, he's got to take a shit. But that he's too terrified to stop at a rest stop because it's not guaranteed that the car will turn back on. And so he's holding it in. Me, I gotta piss bad, because all I've been drinking are liquids. I've been drinking water, ices, milk, and I need a piss bad. But we can't stop, because if we stop, there's no guarantee that the car will continue. So we're hauling absolute ass. And then, eventually, when we're 30 minutes away from our destination, we find out this is the time when everyone comes home from work. Meaning it's all bumper to bumper for the last 30 minutes. We are suffering in this bumper to bumper because there's no way to go and do what I did before in this kind of road, because it's not a highway anymore. It's a regular 3 to 4 lane road going through a city, and can't do what I did before. So we're in bumper to bumper traffic, and I have to have the car going at least 1 mile per hour to make it sure that it doesn't turn off. Well, during this time, Zann can't hold anything in, apparently. So he starts basically hotboxing the car. And it's stunk. And I'm suffocating. And I can't even say shit because technically I got us into this horrible situation. But I'm fucking dying. And I'm trying to open the windows. And it doesn't help because we're only going 1 mile per hour. So we're we want to go home. We're sweating because the fucking air conditioning stopped working. We're we want to get home. But we're happy that we're within the city limits because then we can get AAA. But we're so close but yet so far. And so we're just suffering, sweating, stunk as fuck. We're just living absolute hell. And then eventually, after 30 minutes of agony, we finally make it to his house. He takes his PlayStation, goes inside, and just runs apparently to take the most monstrous of shits. I go home with the most excruciating of headaches, and I pass the fuck out. So, yeah. That was a fun story. Needless to say, I don't think I ever want to do that again. You have no idea how many times I almost had a heart attack that I was scared shitless during that entire story. My god, probably one of the scariest experiences of my life. But with that, guys, been this one video to close. Don't forget to like this video. Don't share this don't forget to share this wonderful video with your friends. Don't forget to subscribe to Unlockable Stories for more vlog type shit like this. And yeah, so with that, guys, brings one video to close. I'm Zann and I'm out for now. Peace.